Our next guest, the 20th head coach in the history of the Vancouver Canucks. It's our pleasure to welcome to Sekeres and Price for the first time, Mr. Bruce Boudreau here. How you doing, Coach?
Oh, well, it would be better if I had won the last couple games, but as far as health-wise, I'm feeling fine.
Mm-hmm. Well, we were wondering that, Bruce. It was all sunshine and rainbows there for the early going. Are you grumpy now, or have these last two games made you a little grumpy?
I think any coach, when they lose, is not happy. No matter how well you play, the league and I think everybody in the hockey fraternity is based on wins and losses. So you want to win as often as you can. And when you lose, and I thought we played a really good game yesterday. I thought we were only okay in Florida despite the layoff. But I mean, we still, had 44 shots on goal and did I thought that we gave up a couple too many chances. But last night's game I thought was as good as, we could play. I mean, you take that team and you only give them 21 shots, that's a pretty good thing. But we didn't come away with the victory. So, I'm pretty grumpy.
Well, Coach, one of the things you've got a reputation for is authenticity, and yet some of the coaching psychological tactics, right, are when they're down, you build them up, you be happy and make sure, they're nurtured and all of those things, and that maybe when they're flying too high and things are going too well, you go out there on the practice sheet one day and you're taskmaster. Can you take us into your approach to all that, your mood as a reflection and the reflection it has on the team practice-wise and game-wise?
Well, I think when you're winning, you have to push them harder to not be complacent, because it's pretty easy to get complacent when you're doing everything right. When you start losing, it's more like parenting. You got to nourish them and keep giving them confidence and hope, because they're already down because they want to win. And it's so the more you pound on them, the worse it gets. Now, you lose the first game, and it was a rougher day because I didn't want them to accept losing. So you lose the second game, which is today was an all positive day because we did so many good things that we didn't want to get them down and want to get them excited about a game tomorrow when you're playing arguably, one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the league, and they just got their butts handed to them, and then they had a sort of a bag skate kind of day. So we're in for their best game tomorrow. So if we're not ready, it'll be a long afternoon. But so today was a day about preparation for tomorrow and getting them mentally ready for tomorrow.
You've been with the team for enough time now, with a large enough sample. Hey, I think you know all their names now. We saw that little video of that your team put together on their own website, and you seem to know everybody now, and the players and probably some of their strengths and weaknesses. Has anybody surprised you? I mean, you're a student of the game, even when you're not coaching. I'm sure you knew who each of these players were and their strengths to a degree, but now even more so. Has anybody surprised you? Anybody better than you thought? Anybody with talents that you didn't think that they necessarily had?
Well, I mean, there's Demko for one. When I came, I knew he was a good goalie, and Vancouver media was building him up as the next good goalie. And when you let Markstrom go because of him, and he had the 3 shutouts, I think, in the playoffs, or 2 shutouts and a half, whatever. But but he was so good when I first got here. It was didn't realize how good he could possibly be. I think Quinn Hughes is a better player than I thought he was from a distance. Those 2 guys, again, up front, guys have done well, but I think JT Miller is a really competitive, good hockey player. And but everybody else has come sort of, I've watched them enough times and before I got the job and talked to enough people about them. There a lot of them are come as advertised.
I don't think anybody thought you were wrong in pointing out that, Quinn could use some help just in terms of lugging the puck and moving the puck from the back end and helping out the offense from the blue line when you said that the other day. Tyler Myers and OEL have had that in their history, and people have marveled at how defensively responsible they've been so far this season, both before you and now with you. They've got it in them, or at least they've had it in them. Is it possible to sacrifice maybe this newfound defensive awareness that they've established? And people, again, have recognized that they've been very good defensively. Is it worthwhile for you to say, guys, I know you've been good defensively, but maybe try to find your former selves in looking up ice a little bit more?
Well, I mean, I don't think since I've been here, I haven't asked them to sacrifice anything defensively. That's the way they play.
Yeah.
I mean, I want, Tyler Myers to shoot more. He's got a powerful shot and I want him to jump into the play. I want Ekman Larsson to be a little bit more like he was in Arizona 4 years ago type thing. I've had a history of when with my teams is the defense has been very mobile and aggressive and offensively gifted, a lot of them, going back to Mike Green and Cam Fowler in Anaheim, and you got the Dumbas and Spurgeons and Suitors and such in Minnesota. So, I mean, I want to play that up-tempo game. I mean, Tampa is a perfect example of how that goes, and they play it very, very well. So it's not like I've sat there and said, listen, I want you to sacrifice your defensive game for your offensive game. That's not what I want, but I think they can do both. I think they could be a little more aggressive offensively, and hopefully they will in time.
Bruce, Elias Pettersson, the center or wing debate, we had it when he was a great Swedish star coming over here to the NHL, and he'd play center, but he wouldn't take the draws. You moved him to wing yesterday. Can you take us through that? And can you tell us if that's something you plan on sticking with here?
Well, nothing's forever in hockey, but I mean, he'll start off there tomorrow again. I thought yesterday, from the wing, it gave him a little bit more room, a little less responsibility in his own zone, ready to take off a little quicker from a little higher up. And he didn't get rewarded for it, but he had two breakaways. He made a couple great passes, one to Bo Horvat and right in front of the net with nobody there, one to Garland, who ended up giving it to Ekman Larsson for another grade A chance. I think he was in on 8 offensive chances yesterday, so it sort of helped him. And I think you got to go through the bad before you go through get to the good stuff. And I think he snaked it a little bit, but once he does start scoring, hopefully it's from that left wing position, that he will continue to do so at a rate that the Vancouver fans are accustomed to. So, but you can only sit down and hope for that, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, until I see it, it's like I'm from Missouri, which is the saying is it's the show me state. Just I'll put you in a position to succeed. You just got to do the work to succeed.
Bruce, centers tend to have a lot of pride in the two-way game, and we know Elias is quite prideful personally as well. How did he take it? How did you message it to him?
Well, I said, here, listen, we're going to try this, and he's all in for trying to do whatever he thinks is going to help him get better. And I mean, he was all for it. Initially, he was the one that asked me to play left wing.
The rest of the season is, still a pretty big chunk. I feel like you and Jim Rutherford are in an interesting position that you guys have been good enough since taking over the team that certainly there's reason to push forward and give it all you've got the rest of the way. You're far enough back. I think that there's a devil's advocate push position to say, you got to think bigger picture right now, not so much about, putting the pressure on yourselves to make the playoffs this season. How much dialogue is there right now between Jim Rutherford and yourself about where this team is at any given moment?
We talk almost every day. I mean, pretty well every day, and and we banter all of those things around. To me, you're always trying to make yourself better in the future. But even if you had to make moves, why does that mean you can't try for today? Why does that mean you just can't? We've got 47 games left. We've got over half the season left. It drives me crazy when people say, it's done. Let's go. Let's wait till the next year. Wow. It's a hard pill to take sometimes when you got that many games left in the season. You never know what can happen. I'm not saying you need a 20-game win streak, but when we come off this road trip here, this is a real daunting gauntlet that we're trying to get through. But if we get through it and get a couple wins out of this, then I think we're right in the mix with everybody.
I know Jaroslav Halak is scheduled to make an appearance this weekend with the back-to-backs. Beyond that, we all know of the clauses in his contract that kick in. Does Jim bother mentioning that to you, or does he just let you play Jaro Halak whenever you want to play?
He's just letting me play him whenever I want him to play. And I don't even know, quite frankly, I've never asked, so I don't even know and I don't care to know what his deal is on his contract. He'll play a game this weekend, and he's played very well. And then he'll play coming up very soon again.
Last question, Coach, and I know it's not the first time you're going back to Washington as a head coach in the NHL, but how do you defend that number 8 there in DC? What's the plan for Sunday on that guy?
Well, I guess the best plan is to take him out and leave him somewhere without a car. It's a long ways away where he can't get to the game.
That's what you should do, Bruce. Ask him out to dinner Saturday night or breakfast on Sunday.
Take him to dinner and leave him somewhere near Richmond, Virginia, and say, tell him it's a 7:00 game and not let him know it's a 1:00 game. That's the only way you really can stop him permanently.
Are you still in awe of what he does at his age? You know all about him, but he's an old timer. What's he doing what he's doing right now?
He's not supposed to do that. I'm going to tell him in 2 days that just to relax. And it's just, you've got all the money in the world. You're the best goal scorer that's ever lived. Just sit in a rocking chair when you play with us, and don't worry about it.
Well, we hope and trust you're getting acclimatized to Vancouver and BC in a Canadian market. Thanks for the time here, Bruce. Appreciate that. Best of luck this weekend.
All right. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.